Hi, I'm Tony Gavilanes, co-founder, board president, and technical director of Copious. This is a short tutorial about the systems in the venue, so let's get everything up and running. All right, let's get everything powered up. Right here we have our audio mixer. The power is a switch on the back far right side. You'll see lights come on, and we also have a wireless microphone receiver right next to it. Switches on the far left side. And then we also have another stage mixer. Let's go turn that one on. Down here on the side of the stage, we have a little sub mixer. It's a little 8-channel that has a power switch on the back side here, right? And you'll see lights go. It allows us for 1, 2, 3, and 4 microphone inputs, a couple of stereo channels, and mixing with a single line up to the tech booth. All right, and then amplifier last. It is right down here in the rack. It is the power base, has a switch here. You'll see a light come on. You might hear some noises, it's an old beast. All right, so speaking of inputs, let's start with our main mix up to 0. And then essentially we have pre-lined in the stage line from that mixer we were just talking about. That's on channel 1 that we can bring up here. And we also have our wireless mics. That is the receiver next to it here. That's here on channel 2 that we can bring up. And then open channels all the way down to this headphone in. The cable, you can follow it, it may go around the line, but it's basically the end of a headphone jack, and that can be brought up on channels 7 and 8. The wireless mics can be found in the drawer here to the side. They are these little guys, and they basically have a little switch which needs to go all the way up. There's 2 detents. This middle one is actually mute. The furthest one up, hello, hello, hello. You won't see any connections for the Spotify house music here. It's the job of the house manager to remotely connect in and bring up the house music before and after every performance. You have 2 additional microphone inputs and an extra stereo channel up here on the tech booth, in addition to the 4 microphone inputs and 2 stereo channels down on the stage mixer. For outputs, we have 2 speakers up for the risers and 2 more down in the lounge, all mixed in mono. And just in case you want to do recording, we do have a tape output with RCA on the mixer. Just in case. The manual is underneath the mixer. For our lighting plot, we essentially have Fresnels and LED pars set up as pairs, lighting different zones of the stage. We have 1 pipe of lights that hangs over the audience, filling up the downstage edge, and 1 more line of lights that hangs just behind the downstage area and fills in the upstage zone, in addition to 1 line that's over the lounge that fills in from that direction. We also have a upstage line that's over the curtain that essentially works as a backlight, in addition to a few specials, a couple of Licos from each direction, and a headlight in the center of the stage that points backward toward the audience. Let's get this lighting rig powered up. Backstage, there's a cable that's hanging out that should be unplugged every night that goes into the number 6 outlet, which powers all of our LEDs and the chandeliers. Next, we'll be powering up our console. A little switch behind the top right. We'll let that do its magic here. More than likely, you're going to need to reload the program, so just go ahead and tap the Shows button, and it's the Copious House Standard that we want to load here. You go ahead and just tap all these buttons. Yes, indeed. Make sure your Grand Master and your Master are turned up. That'll always get you in a little bind there. Here we are ready to build some looks. So we're labeled with a top and a bottom set of individual light fixtures. Front right, front center, front left, mid right, mid center, mid left, lounge right, left, rear left, center right. And then the lower one are spots, and then all of our LEDs in that same sequence and area. Essentially, these are what we refer to the 2 pages, and as the mixer refers to it, the white or the black bank. So just FYI, that's where you'd want to be for individual lights. If you want to save or set up any scenes, let's go ahead and just put a couple of fixtures up here and build our little scene out there. All we have to do is hit the record button up here, And what it'll do is it'll put it into our scene mode and allow us to basically override anything that's blinking in here, any of our scenes or any of our individually saved scenes now that we're in the scene page. We have 4 scene pages, a yellow, a red, a green, and a blue. And as you can tell, the yellow is full, the red has some that are open now, and what we'll do is we'll end up going into number 7. We'll select number 7, and the board will save this scene to number 7. So now, as we dump all of this, off she goes. What we can do is go back to the scenes here instead of our individuals. We note that we're on the page red. We could be on green, where we don't see anything there. Could be on blue, don't see anything. We could be on yellow, which is a different set, but we're on red, and here's our scene 7. We can bring that right up. Bob's your uncle. For cues and other associated things, the manual is saved underneath the board, and it is a Jan's Stage CL. One last thing, we have these bulbs that are above all the booths. They are controlled by an extra mixer that is down in the rack, and we want to make sure that the master level is turned all the way up here, and we also have our blackout button that is disengaged, just in case that is green and lit. We need to make sure that nothing is on, so otherwise we can have control and set the master level to wherever we want it to be dimmed to. The projection system, if you're not hanging the screen, is basically pulling it down and using this remote control to press the power projector above the stage. And there are 2 inputs to this projector. On HDMI 1, we have the computer that is here in the tech booth that's running the slideshow. Should be automatically set and should be the thing that comes up. Secondarily is an HDMI cable found right here at the lovely tech booth. If it's not coiled up in this corner, it might be down underneath the edge, but you plug this in and we get into the source select, boom, and we are able to see on the screen a scroll through of all the inputs, and we can actually use our up and down to select which one we want. A couple of other things you might find backstage of use, a couple of microphones on stands. That being said, music stands, extra cabling, and our power connections behind the stage, in addition to a rack of extra cables and a keyboard if you would so wish. Thank you for making your way all the way to the end, and if you have any questions, please reach out to your house manager or your booking manager or your local friend at Copious in Ballard, Washington.